Parkinson's disease in the aging population.
What about signs and symptoms? What should we look for?
They really vary from patient to patient, but the most common ones that people notice or may prompt them to be evaluated by a neurologist are related to movement. Most people think of the resting tremor that you see, the shaking of the hand, but also slowness of movement, reduced facial expression, muscle stiffness, changes in balance or walking are the primary things people see. However, there are non-movement related symptoms that are very common, such as it can impact memory, mood, sleep, bowel function, and it can also affect people's voice and speech as well as swallowing.
Dr. Brennan, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you so much.
Find a doctor who's right for you by visiting freightert.com/movement or calling 414-777-7700.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Elizabeth and John bought their starter home 8 years ago, BC, as in before children. Now, with 2 elementary school-age kids, they wanted to make a move to the suburbs for a bigger home with more yard. But they didn't know if or how they could buy their next home without selling their current one. Fortunately, a friend who was a multi-time Accunet client connected them with us, and we soon determined they could, in fact, afford to buy without selling first, which was a big relief to them and their real estate agent. Armed with an Accunet rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval, it still took several weeks to find the right home for the next chapter in their life. But I'm happy to report that Elizabeth, John, and their boys opened their presents on Christmas morning in their new home after closing just a few days before. Whether you're buying your first home or your next home, go with the pros who have all the tools and know-how to make your home buying experience as smooth and successful as humanly possible. Get started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval by clicking on the blue button at Accunet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Find furniture for life from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
Tonight, the Bucks dispel the Orlando Magic once again.
Right back to Giannis, and Giannis, a thunderous left-hand jam again.
Our coverage starts tonight at 6 with Bucks shoot-arounds on your home for the Bucks. News Radio 620 WTMJ Milwaukee.
It's 11:01. I'm Jessica Ty. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Wednesday, January 15th. Your top story, a brewing offer for Chippewa Falls.
I'm Adam Roberts in for Greg Matzik. One last address to the nation.
Today, it started sunny. That was so nice, right? Clouds are increasing, though, as the day goes on. Evening snow tonight. We have a high of 23. Tonight, we'll dip down to 20. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, high of 36. It's currently 12 degrees in Milwaukee. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, a WTMJ exclusive. 2 former presidents of Leinenkugel Brewing say they've offered to buy the Chippewa Falls Brewery from Molson Coors and continue brewing beer there. Dick and Jake Leinenkugel say Molson Coors has rejected that offer. Last year, Molson Coors announced plans to shut down the 157-year-old brewery. Their last day of brewing beer at the Leinenkugel Brewery is this Friday. More than 50 workers will lose their jobs. Dick Leinenkugel will join Wisconsin's Afternoon News exclusively at 5:15 this evening.
For just the third time in the last 60 years, Milwaukee County will soon have a new district attorney as Kent Laverne takes the oath of office Thursday. Former Milwaukee Police Lieutenant and host on 101.7 The Truth, Dr. Ken Harris, telling Wisconsin's Morning News Laverne needs to eliminate the current cash bail policies set by outgoing DA John Chisholm.
Instead of letting someone sit in jail because the cash bail is what it's supposed to be, $1 million, we make it $1,500 and they bail out and go back to the same community and cause trouble. That's happened under this previous district attorney.
In 2023, Wisconsin voters approved a constitutional amendment to allow judges to consider the severity of the crime when setting bail.
President Joe Biden makes his final address to the country tonight. He's expected to reflect on his time in office.
In a letter to Americans released ahead of his Oval Office address this evening, President Biden reflects on his long career, writing, "It's been the privilege of his life to serve the nation for over 50 years. He says nowhere else on earth could a kid with a stutter from modest beginnings in Scranton, Pennsylvania and Claymont, Delaware, one day sit behind the resolute desk in the Oval Office as president. That desk is where he'll deliver his remarks this evening." The president adding he's given his heart and soul to the nation and been blessed 1 million times in return with the love and support of the American people. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
A proposed U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement detention facility on Milwaukee's northwest side drawing the ire from local leaders. Alderwoman Larissa Taylor says her office received a request through a third party to support ICE's plans to move into the district at a currently empty warehouse park on West Lake Park Drive. Proposed modifications to the building include a sally port used to transport prisoners and a chain link fence with privacy slats. ICE has not made a public statement about plans for the facility.
And some breaking news just coming in. Sources say Hamas and Israel have agreed to a ceasefire hostage deal. And Adam, you've got the AP report just coming in.
This is coming in just moments ago. Sources telling the AP, a U.S. official says they are expecting a formal announcement on the ceasefire deal, as well as the terms of that deal in the next few hours. There are, of course, several hostages that still need to be released. Not many are presumed to still be alive, not all of them at least. And so we will know more details on the terms of this ceasefire deal later today on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Yeah, we'll stay on top of this. Hamas and Israel agreeing to a ceasefire hostage deal. Right now, though, let's turn our attention to your market update. Time for News About Your Money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. It is a good day on Wall Street. Everything is green. Everything is up. The Dow is up 596 points to 43,115. S&P 500 is up an even 83 points to 5,925. And the NASDAQ is up 353 points to 19,397. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth. Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com.
Sports, traffic, and weather coming up next. Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 11:03.
Hey, John Mercure here for Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. Their mission is to transform the culture of care. They specialize in caring for those with early to late-stage Alzheimer's or other related dementia symptoms, memory care issues. It's Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. I've been in their places. I love how they deal with people. It's about compassion and empathy at Azura. Kindness is at their core. 14 locations from the Mississippi to Lake Michigan, 4 here in the Milwaukee area. Wisconsin-based and family-owned. It's about kindness and care. It's Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living.
The pulse of the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend.
Can't get it off. Marcus Johnson will, though. Can't leave him alone for a 12.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson on Bucks Plus. Marcus and his son Chris offer a weekly beat on Bucks basketball. Get your questions answered and hear from the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District with Marcus Johnson at bucks.com/plus on the Bucks app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, this is Steve Scafidi for Advent. I had some snoring issues that kept my wife up at night. That led to poor sleep and a lot of tired mornings on the radio, and nobody wants that, trust me. But it's simply, my nose wasn't working the way it should. I decided to go to Advent for a quick 30-minute visit, one of their great facilities, talk to a bunch of their doctors. They really put me at ease. After a really simple sleep study at home, in my own bed, they determined the root cause of my problem had to do with my sinuses and nasal passages in my breathing triangle. I didn't even know I had a breathing triangle, so I went to see Advent. After a short procedure done in office, I'm back to breathing well, and my wife and I are both back to sleeping through the whole night. The best sleep we've ever had, that could be you. If you struggle with restless nights like I did, take the time to see how Advent can help. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your life and your nights a whole lot better, go to AdventKnows.com, schedule an appointment today. Because Advent knows, when you breathe well, you live better.
For a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Giannis Antetokounmpo gets his 50th career triple-double as the Bucks beat the Kings 130-115. It was quite the game, and that ended the Kings' 7-game winning streak. The Bucks are back for Game 2 of their 4-game homestand tonight against the Orlando Magic. Tip-off is at 7 p.m., and our coverage starts tonight at 6 p.m. with Bucks Shoot-Around right here on WTMJ. A win for the Wisconsin Badgers last night, 70-68 over Ohio State at the Kohl Center. The 24th-ranked Badgers play USC next. That one's on Saturday. And the Wisconsin women host the Buckeyes tomorrow night in Madison. Badger Sports Updates sponsored by Siding Unlimited. Siding and a whole lot more.
All right, let's check those roads. Your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Good news for everyone, it's green. And by green, I mean the roads are looking green on the maps right now. No incidents or delays to report. Your travel times are the usuals. Right now, Highway 16 into downtown, 16 minutes on that ride. Heading east, westbound in the opposite direction, that's going to take you 15. And everywhere else is looking good as well this hour.
Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Today, afternoon clouds will increase. We have a high of 23 today. Tonight, snow, less than an inch though. Breezy as well. We have a low of 20. Wind gusts will be up to 25 miles per hour. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, high of 36. And look at these temps as they continue to go up on Friday. Partly cloudy, breezy, and mild. We have a high of 42 on Friday. Saturday, mostly cloudy, breezy, and falling temps again. It's just like up and down, up and down. Saturday, we will have a high of 27. Sunday, a high of 10. It's going to get cold again. Mostly sunny, though, so keep your sunglasses handy.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life.
Jessica Ty and Adam Roberts with you today because Greg is taking a wonderful vacation. This is one of those vacations you plan for. A lot of times families have one, and this is the one. They're going somewhere warm.
Parts unknown, as we used to say in professional wrestling. We don't know where he's going, but trust me, it is very nice, I've been told.
A well-deserved vacation, and he's getting out of Dodge, as many people like to do in January in Wisconsin. We've got you covered, though, with today's latest news.
And now it's time for 3 Big Things on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Number 1, an MTV reality star turned former Wisconsin congressman in the hot seat today for his confirmation hearing. Sean Duffy is President-elect Donald Trump's nominee for Department of Transportation Secretary. He appeared before the Senate this morning for his confirmation. U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin of Wisconsin was one of those who questioned Duffy. At one point, I was listening here, and she asked him about accommodating travelers with disabilities. And Duffy's answer was partly personal.
And I would just note that disabilities come in all forms, shapes, and sizes. My daughter, who you've all met, she has Down syndrome. We'll deal with our own set of challenges with her, but making sure that people who have disabilities have access to all modes of transportation, I think, is critically important. And I would work with you and Senator Duckworth and the Department of Transportation to see what additional steps we can and should be taking, 1, to follow the law, but 2, to make sure that everyone has access.
Duffy served as congressman for Wisconsin's 7th congressional district in the northwest part of the state from 2011 to 2019. His time overlapped the majority of Trump's presidency.
Number 2, relief could be coming soon for Southern California. This as wildfires continue to burn this week in the Los Angeles area. And there are concerns about more winds driving the fires today, as they have for the last week or so. However, there is relief in sight. We turn to ABC Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z.
Things really start to settle down. The wind speeds are near calm for Santa Clarita by Friday. You know the other best part? We're going to get onshore flow by Friday. That means that the humidity is going to bump up, talking 60%. That's going to help so much you might even see a sprinkle by the end of the week in Southern California.
And that's something not to be missed in all of this. While the firefighting has happened, as often is the case in Southern California, no rain whatsoever to speak of. It's been so dry as well. So the extra humidity and possible sprinkles will definitely help things. Meanwhile, the ATF, the federal agency charged with investigating arson and explosions, they're zeroing in on the Palisades Highland area, looking for an initial cause to what was the largest fire of all of these that have impacted the area. At least 25 people now confirmed dead from those wildfires.
It was so nice to hear that finally some relief is in sight, because there were some days we talked about the winds. The winds have died down, but we have definitely not talked about any rain. So any help they can get is a big help at this point.
Absolutely.
Number 3, and happening now, a rocket is blazing towards the moon. It's a Falcon 9 rocket hauling lunar landers designed and built by a pair of relative newcomers to the space race. ABC's Jim Ryan explains the mission.
3, 2, 1, ignition.
No people were on board for this morning's launch, but the Japanese and American landers headed to the moon right now are to carry out scientific experiments crucial to returning humans to the lunar surface. but it's also a flight of fancy, with a tiny red house mounted to the front of the Japanese lander. An extraterrestrial art installation that's been the dream of Sweden's Mikael Jenberg for 25 years. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Okay, listen to this. There's a wacky part of this, though.
Okay.
The Japan company's first attempt at a lunar landing in 2023 ended in a crash. That's not good. But here's the wacky part. And it left a pockmark on the face of the moon.
Wow.
It messed up the moon a bit.
That's hard to do, messing up the moon.
And it's just a pockmark. So it's not like it's the end of the world, but it's still, it feels like you go to the moon, you can't mess it up, right?
No, I mean, we've been raised since we were kids. When you go to national parks, you leave everything as you found it. So, yeah, that's kind of hard to do, and that's rough.
Well, stay with us. Time right now is 11:14, and coming up, we're going to dive more into this offer from two former presidents of Leinenkugel Brewing. They say they've offered to buy the Chippewa Falls Brewery from Molson Coors and continue brewing beer there. But that offer wasn't taken up. We'll go into details.
If the Magic really have any sort of power,
pick a card, any card.
Don't you think that instead of pulling bunnies out of their hat,
Now take a good look at that card.
they'd consider trying to pull a win out?
Watch while I turn these spades into stars.
The Magic teleport north to take on the Bucks.
Middleton squeezes up another three. This time he's fouled as he hits it.
Our Bucks Radio Game Day coverage starts tonight at 6:30. We are the home of the Bucks. WTMJ.
Ready to tackle your home improvement project this winter? Exterior Pros and Baths is here to help you score big with quality home exterior and shower upgrades. As a 5-time President's Club Award winner, Exterior Pros is not playing around. With flexible financing, it's never been easier to invest in your home without breaking the bank. Get started today and save $2,000. Visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274. That's 262-800-4274. Trust the pros and kick off your home transformation today.
If you're able, please help people impacted by the California wildfires in 2025. Donate at redcross.org/ESPN to help the Red Cross respond and help families recover.
In a recent study, over 1/3 of millionaires predicted their ability to feel financially secure in retirement is going to take a miracle. At Annex Wealth Management, we believe a plan, not a miracle, will help increase your retirement confidence. Our team of experts gets to work using leading-edge technology to build comprehensive plans covering investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning. And Annex doesn't have products to push with hidden fees or commissions. There's too much of that already. Annex is a fee-only fiduciary. More planning, fewer miracles. Know the difference. AnnexWealth.com.
I'm Jean Nemovitz of Bruce's team. Together with my husband Bruce and our dedicated team members, Erica and Cindy, we're here to guide you through one of life's biggest transitions, moving from your longtime home to a new one. With empathy, kindness, and understanding, we'll walk with you every step of the way, making the process as smooth and stress-free as possible. Let us take you from overwhelmed to I can do this. Call us today at 262-242-6177 or visit brucesteam.com.
Well, like we said earlier, the morning's starting off sunny, but we'll see clouds start to increase this afternoon. We're watching for some evening snow showers, nothing too high in accumulation, less than an inch by the time things are done tonight. High today going to be in the low 20s, not going to drop too much tonight, down to 20. Will be breezy though, mostly cloudy 36 on Thursday, warm Friday 42, and the temperatures start to fall into the weekend. It's currently 14 in Milwaukee at 11:17.
So at the top of the show, we brought you this breaking news, a WTMJ exclusive. Two former presidents of Leinenkugel Brewing say they've offered to buy the Chippewa Falls Brewery from Molson Coors and continue brewing beer there. Dick and Jake Leinenkugel say Molson Coors has rejected that offer. And we have a statement here, and this is one of those ones that's tough to read because there's so much love there, right? Mm-hmm. There's so much history and legacy with this brewery.
And I know this because when we first broke this story in November of last year, my timeline on Twitter X was absolutely going off from people very let down by this news, and now we have this new update. So we'll detail kind of the highlights here. So Jake and Dick Leinenkugel releasing this statement exclusively to WTMJ, where they say they attempted at an undetermined time between when they first announced the closure and now to submit a formal proposal for a non-disclosure agreement, known as an NDA, if you will. They submitted this proposal to Molson Coors that they say would allow discussions to start so that they could acquire the brewery, keep it in the family, yada, yada, keep it open. Then on January 6th, they receive a response from the CEO of Molson Coors. His name is Gavin Hattersley, who said he would decline to pursue the NDA, promising the company does to remain fully committed, quote, to the Leinenkugel's brand. Then a couple of days later, the Leinenkugel family follows up saying, let's rethink this. We'll pursue this even without an NDA. And as of today, the Leinenkugels tell us they have not heard back from that response on January 8th.
And they go on to say that Chippewa Falls Brewery is more than a facility, and that's what I was talking about at the top here. There's so much history involved, the family, there is so much love there. They say it is a symbol of our legacy, a source of pride for our community, and a key part of what makes Leinenkugels unique. We continue to hope for a resolution that honors our history and secures the future of brewing in Chippewa Falls. So you think about all the history there and the future of brewing in this town. But also, you can't forget about the workers. There are more than 50 workers who are going to lose their jobs, and their last day of brewing beer at the Leinenkugels Brewery is this Friday.
Absolutely, and I've been up to this brewery multiple times. When I was in La Crosse, we'd take the road trip up the interstate to do the tour. I had friends who lived in the Eau Claire area, so definitely a stopping point. It's of the brewery tours, of which we have many in the state, the Leinenkugels one has to be at the top or near it in terms of the most iconic. I know that they had been talking about keeping the visitor center open in some capacity. We're not sure yet where talks stand on that. Also important to note locally, the closure day, January 17th, it's the same day Leinenkugels will also close their 10th Street Brewery here in Milwaukee near the Brewery District, and that will impact 34 employees at that location as well.
Also something to note, Dick Leinenkugel will join Wisconsin's Afternoon News exclusively coming up at 5:15 today, so that's something to look forward to. It's 11:20. Stay close. We're talking next about the 794 debate. Should it be taken down? What side are you on?
New Year's resolution, finally do something about that old garage door. Vince Vitrano for Lifetime Door Company. Time to give the biggest door to your home the look, style, and function it demands. Our holiday guests, first thing they say when they walk in, wow, that new garage door looks really nice. Lifetime also installed a new opener. So quiet, LED lights, camera equipped. You can even run it from an app on your phone. To help fit your budget through January, tell them Vinny sent you. They'll knock 5% off the total purchase on all service and installation. Get started at lifetimedoor.net.
Deep freeze is here. It's not too late for you to get hot, hot, hot. Fox World Travel has your ticket to paradise with exclusive deals you won't find anywhere else. Save up to $150 on Mexico and Caribbean vacations with Apple Vacations, or get Fox exclusive cruise perks like onboard credits and more with Celebrity Cruises, Holland America, or Princess. Don't miss this limited time to book now and save only at Fox World Travel. Book online or call 866-GO-FOX-GO and mention code radio.
For over a century, local radio has evolved with the needs of the community. From politics to pop culture, we keep you informed, bringing you the most relevant news, online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
I know you have a great dog, right? But you know there's room for improvement. At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we can help. Our attention-based training system uses modern technology to help you better communicate with your dog, even in high distraction. When you schedule a free consultation with us, you will have the opportunity to see our training in action and meet for yourself our happy dogs off leash and under control. Contact Sit Means Sit today at 262-361-3641 or find us on the web at sitmeansitwaukesha.com to schedule your free consultation so you can have a happy, confident, and obedient dog.
The debate over 794 Milwaukee. Should we remove the freeway, fix it, or say goodbye? People are passionate about this one. Which side are you on? Wisconsin's Afternoon News is dedicating an hour to the subject today. John McCure joins us to explain what you have on tap. And I was kind of curious about this. Why now? What's the latest?
So there's been surveys done, there's been public meetings, there's been all that stuff, some of it more than a year ago, Jessica. And now the DOT is telling us that they expect in the spring, maybe in 2 months, 3 months, that they will release findings. They will come up with recommendations. What should happen to 794? That's expected in the next couple of months. And we've been working on this for a couple of months. So we were able to put the pieces together to have the conversation. And so that's why we're doing it this afternoon.
You're going to have a discussion about the debate.
Yes.
Who's coming in to chat?
This is interesting. So there are two major groups of people. One wants to tear down that chunk of highway, basically between the Marquette Interchange and the Hone Bridge. They want to take that big infrastructure down and put in city streets. The other group is a group of citizens who say, you know what, we need to leave it there. It's going to lead to increased congestion if we take that down on city streets. It works fine. It's effective. And so we have both those sides coming in. A guy named Taylor Corslin is an architect and volunteer with Rethink 794 who says we need to tear it down. And then a citizen group is going to also be represented this afternoon on the show. Someone from that group will come in and tell us why, you know what, no, this is a really bad idea to take it down. Charlie Rosenberg has been looking into this and says, leave it how it is. So they'll both be with us in the studio at the same time. Should be interesting.
And there are numerous factors to consider here, right? It's not just about transportation, even though that's huge. You also have the economic aspect, the environmental aspect of it. There's a lot that goes into this.
You're absolutely right. So, you know, I take it to come into work every day. So people like me who use it to get in and out of downtown, they're impacted. But what about all those businesses? And people who want it torn down say, if you take it down, that area of the city will now see the sky, and there will be street-level access to more lots. Maybe it's more business. Maybe it's more restaurants. Maybe it's a more vibrancy for the third ward. So it's about business. It's about economics. You mentioned the environment. That's a major part of the concern. We don't know yet what the environmental impact will be or cost will be to take this down. Think about all that concrete. If they decide to take this down, and it sounds like they're leaning that direction, that's going to be such a big deal. How do you haul that out of there? How do you get it done? What does the ground underneath there look like? A lot of questions.
It is a huge project if that happens, and I wonder how long that's all going to take. I think there are a lot of people out there, too, who maybe don't know all of the details about it, who just think about, okay, how will this impact my commute and the time?
You're right, and we don't know that. You know, one of the major reasons for not taking it down is that our city streets are very congested, and people use that access point coming from the south and the west to get into downtown, where we work right here. We use it to get into downtown. If it's now city streets, are they going to be really congested? What about when Summerfest is going on and people are trying to use those city streets? What about getting into the third ward? It's not just people that come to work. The Wicked Hop and Benelux and all those cool restaurants, the Milwaukee Public Market are right down there as well. How will they be impacted if it comes down? I think some of them would like it to come down and open things up, but there's also a fear because we don't know exactly what the impact will be.
Your guests today will obviously be giving their views and telling you how they come down on this debate. Will you and Julia also be revealing where you come down on the debate?
Yeah, we will be. Yeah, that's going to be part of the conversation near the end of the hour. And I'm on the fence still, to be honest with you.
Oh, you are on the fence. I was going to ask you, because I know where Julia stands, and I'll leave that. I'll give it a little tease for the afternoon news. But I'm
really on the fence. I will say this. If this project were coming today in the world we live in, not 50 years ago, it wouldn't happen. 794 wouldn't be built today. People want to stay downtown. People want to walk downtown. People want to be able to look at the sky when they're downtown. It wouldn't happen today. I kind of lean that way, that maybe it should come down, but I still got to figure it out. It's a game time decision for me.
Okay, game time decision. Well, you can listen to it all today on Wisconsin's Afternoon News with John and Julia, the debate over 794. Thanks for joining us, John.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
This is one of those things, Adam, where there's not much gray. There's a lot of black and white where people stand. A lot of people passionate on one side, a lot of people passionate on the other.
Yeah, I know when the Park East came down about 25 years ago, that was always dubbed the freeway that goes to nowhere unless you're going to the grocery store. But this is very different. It's a major artery in our city, wherever you fall on it, and a lot of tough decisions will have to be made.
But think about Park East now. Wow. And the Deer District? I mean, for so long, we waited to see what would happen, and nothing happened, nothing happened, nothing happened, and then boom. Now it's certainly changed that neighborhood. It is 11:27. Up next, your local news and national headlines.
Our favorite reason to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler? Free service for life with no fine print. That's right. When you buy your engagement ring or any piece of jewelry at Diamonds Direct, you will never have to pay a dime in the future for sizing, cleaning, or routine maintenance. At Diamonds Direct, there's no gotcha clause, no fine print, no looking for ways to void the warranty. Diamonds Direct, the jeweler you can trust with a no questions asked 100% free lifetime warranty with no strings attached. Come see us to learn more.
Reason number 52 to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler. Only Diamonds Direct gives you a 110% diamond upgrade guarantee. Diamonds Direct will give you 110% of your original purchase price toward the new stone. That's 10% more than you paid the first time. Guaranteed appreciation. Who else does this? There's no fine print and no minimum purchase requirement. It's 10% more, period. Buy with confidence. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
I haven't had anything to eat for days, and being hungry hurts.
Going without oil changes can destroy your engine, but it doesn't compare to the effect of going without food. That's why the Automobile Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee is determined to make sure no one goes to bed hungry. Through March 1st, they'll donate $1 from every oil change to Feeding America Eastern Wisconsin. Every dollar provides 3 healthy meals. Over the past 14 years, Adam has donated over $890,000, providing more than 2.6 million meals to people across southeast Wisconsin, the majority being children and seniors. And with today's ongoing challenges, the need is greater than ever. So help the hungry while helping your vehicle. Get your oil changed by Adam Dealer Factory Trained Techs at a price as low or lower than independent shops. Visit an Adam member dealer near you.
For a list of participating dealers, visit adamm.com.
It's 11:30 on the dot. I'm Jessica Ty. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Wednesday, January 15th. Your top story, speculation begins in the race for governor.
I'm Adam Roberts, making kids' dreams come true.
We have a high of 23 degrees today. Started sunny, afternoon clouds, and then evening snow. Tonight, snow showers, less than an inch, though. It's going to be breezy. We'll dip down to 20 degrees. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy and a high of 36.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Michelle Franzen. Israel and Hamas have reached a Gaza ceasefire and hostage release deal. The brokered talks, including the U.S. and Middle East officials in Doha, set to make a formal announcement and provide details. After 15 months of war and rounds of negotiations, relief could soon come to the war-torn enclave and bring more than 30 hostages held by Hamas home since the October 7th attacks. ABC's Ian Pannell is in Tel Aviv.
This is a temporary ceasefire for now. Phase 1 would include the gradual release of hostages. We don't know the condition of those hostages. It's entirely possible that some of them will be dead and it will be bodies that will be returned to their loved ones.
President Biden teams, as well as the incoming Trump administration team, both involved in these last-minute talks. President Biden expected to deliver remarks. President-elect Trump issuing a statement saying a deal has been made. Again, Israel and Hamas have reached a ceasefire agreement. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:31.
From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, it's 2 years away, but the race for governor is already making headlines.
Governor Evers says he'll decide later this year whether he'll run for a third term.
Early summer, I would say.
Evers on the Political Power Hour earlier this week. Now, as for possible Republican candidates, Congressman Tom Tiffany and business owner Bill Berrien are among those considering a run, the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reports, as well as Washington County Executive Josh Schoeman, who chatted with Steve Scafidi about his name being floated in that article.
I get asked every single day. I mean, there's people from all across the state who are reaching out.
Schoeman says he's currently focused on his county executive job. Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
Signs of improvement for 2 students still in the hospital after the Abundant Life Christian School shooting in Madison last December. Spokesperson for the UW Health System says the patients are improving and have been upgraded to good condition. They're being treated at American Family Children's Hospital there in Madison. 3 people died in that shooting, including the teenage shooter, and Madison police are still investigating a motive.
A student at Milwaukee Public Schools has tested positive for lead poisoning. The health department says the student attends the Golda Meir Lower Campus just north of downtown. The department identified lead paint in the basement bathroom at the school. The district and health department are now currently working to remediate the identified lead hazards. No other students have reported illnesses.
A man is in custody after an attempted bank robbery in Appleton. Police say Martin Scheidermeyer entered a Wells Fargo bank on Tuesday demanding money, then ran with an unknown amount of cash. Police say quick thinking by bank employees led them to make an arrest just 19 minutes later. That money was also recovered. The incident did not cause any injuries.
Make-A-Wish Wisconsin and the Milwaukee Bucks team up to help 4 sick kids.
Dominique Smith brought her son from Arkansas to spend the day with his idol.
He's loved Damian Lillard since I can't even remember when it started, but to be here and for them to do this for the families, I can't even put into words how it feels.
Arvind Gopal Rutnam with the Bucks says these events impact everyone.
It means a lot not only to the kiddo, but it means a lot to Damian, who's been preparing for a few weeks with ordering shoes to getting ready to welcome this kid to Milwaukee.
David Ozzie-Scott, WTMJ News.
Isn't that so awesome? And at the Bucks game last night, the kids were there. The families were there. So that was really cool. And you get to stand up, give them a standing ovation, and just, provide a little bit of support from the stands, the fans in the stands.
Sports really has a way to make people smile, so that's awesome to hear.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:34.
Hey, it's 620 WTMJ's Kristin Brey, and if you're looking for a new dentist, you should check out Dr. James Michaels at Economowalk Dental Care. Dr. Michaels is committed to providing you with the highest level of care possible. He has prioritized patients' needs no matter how sensitive since he began practicing in 1985. If you're due for a dental visit, Economowalk Dental has an $89 new patient special, so you can get the care that you need at an affordable price. In addition to an exam, you'll receive a gentle, professional cleaning that will leave your mouth feeling smooth and rejuvenated. We all have to go to the dentist, so do not put it off any longer. Check out Economowalk Dental Care at drmichaelsdentalcare.com or give them a call at 262-567-7224. That's 262-567-7224. Start 2025 on a good note by feeling confident about your smile and go see my dentist, Dr. James Michaels at Economowalk Dental Care.
Many times, patients have symptoms they didn't know were actually related to their airway breathing issues.
I was suffering from sinus issues, jaw issues, and neck pain. I guess I just kind of had my breaking point.
Unfortunately, this is typical. But until you get to the root of your problem, it's going to just persist. Fortunately, Jody took action, and the results were typical as well.
My quality of life is so different. But one of the first things that I noticed was my breathing. I don't ever remember being able to breathe like that.
Being able to breathe freely is life-changing, and the effects can go beyond that.
Sleeping better, having more energy, and it seemed as if all of those symptoms that I had just melted away.
And thank heavens for that, because at Advent, results are what drive us, helping you breathe well so you can live better.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. A 50th career triple-double for Giannis. Bucks beat the Kings 130-115. That ends Sacramento's 7-game winning streak. Bucks don't get a lot of rest, though. They're back at it for Game 2 of a 4-game homestand. That's at Fiserv Forum tonight against the Orlando Magic and their Milwaukee native head coach. Tip-off is at 7. Our coverage starts at 6 with Bucks shoot-around here on WTMJ. Marquette and Wisconsin, the men both winning on the hardwood last night. The Golden Eagles would need overtime to beat DePaul 85-83, while the Wisconsin men take care of Ohio State 70-68. 24th-ranked Badgers play USC on Saturday, while the women host the Buckeyes tomorrow night in Madison. Badger Sports Updates are sponsored by Siding Unlimited. It's siding and a whole lot more.
Let's get you an update on the roads right now with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time-saver traffic. We do have a crash that I want to let you know about in Kenosha County, 4194 South, just a little bit beyond the ramp from County KR. Right shoulder is blocked due to a crash, so heads up if you're traveling that way. We also have 4194 South at the ramp from County KR, so right in that same vicinity, right shoulder is blocked due to a car that's broken down. So we have a couple of issues right there. The only other thing I'm really seeing is closer to the West Dallas area, 41894 North at Greenfield Avenue. Left shoulder is blocked because of a car that's broken down.
Traffic is sponsored by the famous Fox and Hounds restaurant near Holy Hill.
Through January 15th, buy a $100 gift card from the historic Fox and Hounds restaurant. Get a $20 gift card free. Order online at foxandhoundsrestaurant.com.
Your WTMJ 5-day forecast. We'll see some clouds start to roll through this afternoon after some clear skies this morning. Evening snow arrives. It'll continue overnight. Could see less than an inch of total accumulation. It will be breezy as well. High of 23 today, not dropping down too low tonight, just down to 20. Mostly cloudy, warmer Thursday, 36, 42 partly cloudy and mild on Friday. Then the temperatures start to fall out. Mostly cloudy Saturday, 27. How about this for Sunday? Mostly sunny, just 10 above the forecasted high. And as we look ahead to next week, it's only going to get colder from there. We will have to monitor those temperatures early Monday into Tuesday. Right now, it's 14 in Milwaukee and sunny at 11:38.
After 2 assassination attempts against President-elect Donald Trump during the campaign, law enforcement officials believe there is a heightened threat to the January 20th inauguration. The details coming from a joint threat assessment from the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security. ABC News consultant John Cohen is a former counterterrorism coordinator at DHS. He joins us with the details and some important perspective here. John, this threat assessment hasn't been made public, but various media outlets have reviewed it. What does it say beyond there's a heightened threat? Who are they especially worried about?
Well, I think it's important for folks to remember that we're coming off an election year in which law enforcement around the country had to deal with a heightened threat environment, and in fact had to deal with a broad range of cyber and physical threat-related activity. We had cyber attacks directed at state and local government and election offices. We had 2 assassination attempts directed at the incoming president, who was a candidate at that time. We had multiple plots disrupted by the FBI and the U.S. Secret Service, plots that were acts of targeted violence directed at government officials and candidates. We had information operations by countries like Russia and Iran that sought to sow discord, exploit divisive issues, undermine confidence in the election process. And we had disruptive events such as bomb threats and swatting calls directed at polling sites, government officials' homes, government offices. Those threat-related activities didn't end on Election Day. They continued post-election. We had the assassination of a United Healthcare CEO in the streets of New York City. We had a school shooting in Madison, Wisconsin, and we had a vehicle ramming attack, killing and injuring dozens of people in New Orleans during a holiday fair. So these are the underlying conditions that law enforcement has been dealing with, and they're going to be dealing with in the lead up to and during the inauguration.
Did they actually lay out a number of nightmare scenarios and the types of people who could make them a reality?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So I have some visibility into the planning that's taking place in and around the Capitol for these events, and they looked at a broad range of threat events. So they're looking at the potential for vehicle ramming, targeted attacks directed at specific individuals or groups of people. They're looking at the potential for soft target attacks, and they're making preparations that events beyond the inauguration itself, that takes place at the Capitol, that the events preceding and following the inauguration are incorporated into their security plan. So it's a large-scale planning effort. It involves not only law enforcement in the District of Columbia and the Secret Service, but includes the FBI, includes law enforcement from neighboring jurisdictions, and it includes the National Guard.
John, you helped during President Joe Biden's inauguration back in 2021. That was unique as well because it came just weeks after people stormed the Capitol. How would you compare that environment to the one here in 2025 for Trump's inauguration?
I would say we've learned we've learned a lot since January 6th and since that last inauguration. As you and I have discussed when we were talking about election threats and what didn't occur on Election Day, it wasn't that the threat was any less dangerous. It was that the level of preparation by law enforcement and election officials was unlike anything I had seen in my career. I think the same can be said for the planning that's taking place today as it relates to the inauguration. The level of planning and preparation has just been tremendous, and that's one of the big lessons learned. Is you You can't be lackadaisical about these things. You have to understand the threat. You have to develop plans to address the threat. You have to have operational capabilities in place to carry out those plans, and you have to be prepared for the unexpected.
We're talking with ABC News consultant John Cohen, who's a former counterterrorism coordinator for DHS. If you actually put the threat assessment that came out side by side with the one from President Biden's inauguration in 2021, how would they be different?
I think we have a lot more visibility into the type of threat behavior than we did back then. But the biggest thing that's different is the integrated use of cyber attacks, information operations, and physical attacks. You know, the foreign and domestic threat actors that may seek to target this inauguration have fully embraced the power of the internet, and they are using internet-based tools in a much more sophisticated manner to disrupt law enforcement communications, to inspire and instruct acts of physical violence, to actually facilitate disruptive activities. During the Democratic and Republican national conventions, one of which was hosted in your city, we actually saw efforts by Iranian-linked groups and Hamas-linked groups to organize and facilitate live demonstrations intended to disrupt the convention in Chicago. So these are the types of activities that are becoming much more commonplace from a threat perspective, and that was not occurring 4 years ago. We've seen a dramatic increase in these type of localized events being organized by threat actors abroad.
We often hear, as we do in this case too, there are no specific credible threats. So it kind of got me wondering how many bogus threats come in and how much investigating happens just to be able to say, we don't have to worry about that one.
Well, not to be snarky, but even when I was the acting undersecretary of intelligence at DHS, which I served in twice, I've always hated that phrase because the way the threat actors are operating today, terrorist groups, domestic violent organizations, even foreign intelligence services, they operated in a way to bypass our traditional threat collection capabilities. So, in the past, we would intercept communications between terrorist groups. We would track travel of terrorist operatives. We would use that intelligence to anticipate where specific threats would become realized. That doesn't happen today. Very often, these attacks are conducted by individuals who self-connect with ideological beliefs or grievances that they acquire by consuming online content. They then go out independent of these terrorist organizations and conduct attacks. And that type of activity is not going to be picked up by traditional intelligence collection. So we've had attacks across this country for well over a decade now that there was no specific or credible threat-related information in traditional intel streams, but that didn't negate the fact that the attack occurred.
What can people expect to see as far as security on Monday for the inauguration? And obviously there's security that people won't see, but will still be there as well.
So if you're traveling to D.C., and I would urge people to do it, it's an incredible event. It's part of history. You're going to see a lot of uniformed law enforcement officers from a number of different jurisdictions. You're going to see National Guard personnel. You may see some National Guard use of military equipment like Humvees and others in areas across the city. You're going to see fencing around the Capitol. You're going to see that access to the area where spectators congregate will be fenced off, and you'll have to go through checkpoints and metal detectors in order to get into that area. If you're carrying a knapsack or any other type of bag, it'll probably be searched. So those are the types of things you're going to see. And you're going to see more law enforcement around hotels. You're going to see law enforcement around other venues where post-inaugural events will be taking place. What you won't be seeing is equally important, though. What you won't be seeing is all of the intelligence and information sharing that's taking place amongst federal, state, local law enforcement in the region, who will be very, very actively looking to pick up on potential threats and take steps to mitigate any type of threat-related activity before it can occur.
I actually reached out to the Wisconsin National Guard thinking that they might be sending people. I know they did for Biden's inauguration. I was surprised to hear that we are not sending, but I know other states are.
Yeah, some other states are. I think it's going to be, the major presence will be the D.C. National Guard, who has a lot of experience working on these types of events and working in these areas.
Yeah, and Wisconsin said they would, but they aren't needed, apparently. So, interesting nugget right there. Well, thank you so much, John Cohen. Great perspective. John Cohen, who spent years with the Department of Homeland Security, talking today about the heightened threat to the inauguration on Monday. We appreciate it, John.
Great being with you.
Well, it's not the end of the road yet. In fact, it is one sweet day coming up. Who's returning to State Fair?
Hey, you. I knew I'd find you back in the same aisle. What are you looking for today? More fiber? More laxatives? More of the same ways to manage your constipation? Look, if your constipation with belly pain keeps coming back, you may have irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. Ask your doctor how Linzess can help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
I'm Brett Matchke, and you're due for service.
Richlands. AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Market Watcher Brian Wickert. Well, a lot of folks have buying a home on their New Year's resolution list, and while national news headlines talk about the inventory of homes for sale being a lot higher this year, I'm afraid that's just not the case in most of Wisconsin. So how do you make your offer stand out from the others so that someone else doesn't end up sleeping in your dream home? Well, it takes a team of a good real estate agent and a mortgage lender who has all the tools and techniques to help make your offer as attractive as possible in the eyes of that seller. Sure, you can go with a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval, or you can present your offer with an AccuNet, rock-solid, fully verified, and guaranteed pre-approval that might also come with the phrase that really makes sellers happy: no appraisal required. We'll also help you understand exactly what it means in dollars and cents if you do decide to offer over asking or give that seller some appraisal wiggle room. All you have to do to get started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval is click on the blue button at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Ready for a win? Well, it's your year. At Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee, you can win over $2,000 in free play every month all year long. Just play your favorite games and you might take the stage in the It's Your Year game show. 25 winners each Thursday. There's $300,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs this January. Yeah, we think it's your year. More info at paysbig.com. Must be 21 years old to play.
Sun, 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 fun, 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 sun, sun, sun.
Boaters, this is your show, the Milwaukee Boat Show at State Fair Park. Over 300 boats, family runabouts, ski and surf boats, luxury pontoons, more Lake Michigan boats than ever. Tierra, Beneteau, Pursuit, Cruisers, Sea Ray, Boston Whaler, and more. Get that boat and get that deal. See Twiggy the water skiing squirrel the second weekend. Check MilwaukeeBoatShow.com, January 17 through 26, closed Monday and Tuesday.
Best-selling R&B group of all time, Boyz II Men, returns to State Fair.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, they're going to headline the newly titled Bank 5-9 main stage on Friday, August 1st at 7:30 p.m. So all the Boyz II Men fans out there, I'm raising my hand. I'm one of them. Circle it on your calendar, Friday, August 1st. Motown Philly, that is a good one. It just gets you snapping your fingers, tapping your toes, whatever you do.
So this is an excellent get for Wisconsin State Fair. You know, we talk a lot about in this area when it comes to State Fair or Summerfest or any of the big music gets, like, all right, how is the lineup going to look this year? And everyone's got their thoughts on it. There's no debating. When you get the best-selling R&B group of all time, that is a get for State Fair Park.
Oh, this is so much fun. And so many of us, especially, I don't want to age myself here, but I mean, women and men in their, younger to mid-40s, Boyz II Men was the thing. And the nice thing is that they're still around. I mean, besides Motown Philly, which we just heard, End of the Road, classic right there. I'll Make Love to You, One Sweet Day. Tickets go on sale Friday, January 17th at 10 a.m. You can get those at wistatefair.com.
What's so great about them, too, is that they've been doing it for so long. You always think about, bands of that ilk, R&B, boy groups, etc., and their shelf life is so short. Think NSYNC when Justin Timberlake decided he was going to go solo. Think Backstreet Boys. But these guys have been doing it for 40 years and really have never stopped. You go through their discography, it covers every year between 1985 and now. That's impressive run.
I was trying to think back. I think I went maybe in high school to Boys to Men at Summerfest. And the neat thing is when these groups have, it's not like, oh, this is an old group coming necessarily. When they still have this staying power, that's what makes it the best. What was your first concert, Adam?
My first concert, I remember my first concert, 2002. I'm aging myself in the other direction with my youth, but it's actually ironic because my first show was at the Oneida Casino in Green Bay, Boston. Was performing. This was...
that surprises me for you.
Oh, my dad and I, that's one of our mutual favorites.
Okay,
he introduced me at a young
Yep.
age. We would go up deer hunting. It was Rush and Boston. We would play in the car, on the truck on our way up and down. So that was my first show, and I remember it because it was 5 years before their lead singer, Brad Delp, sadly took his own life. And so it was one of the last times, in Wisconsin at least, that full group with More Than a Feeling, Don't Look Back, etc., was all together as one.
My first concert, and this sounds so bizarre when I tell people, was at Summerfest here in Milwaukee. Michael Bolton.
Ooh, that's
Right?
a good one.
But here, this is why. It was because it was on my birthday. So it was like, I loved music, wanted to go. So it was on my birthday. I thought that was really cool to go to a concert to celebrate. So that's why. But interesting fact, fun little nugget here of information. You know who opened for him?
Ooh, okay, tell me.
Celine Dion.
Oh, what a billing.
Right? An opener. Celine Dion back then, an opener. And wow, what a powerhouse she would become.
Now, to that point, in the news release on Boys to Men, there's going to be more news on this. A special guest announced soon from Wisconsin State Fair. So it sounds like there could be a big double booking for this show as well.
Oh, and just in some breaking news here, my good friend Jesse is confirming that, yes, indeed, we did go to Boys to Men.
That's a good memory.
That's
good you have that on,
with
just
her
on
mother,
file.
Right? Oh, that's good. Hey, by the way, wanted to let you know, in case you missed anything from the first hour of Wisconsin's Midday News, you can always check in on our podcast. Gina does an awesome job of getting all of our segments up there. You can text Midday to get a link to our podcast. Once again, text Midday to get a link to our podcast. The Sonic Unlimited WTMJ Talk and Text line is 855-616-1620. Our podcast sponsored by Sonic Unlimited. And some great news. The Milwaukee Boat Show is here, January 17th through the 19th and the 22nd through the 26th. 8 days of boating excellence at the Wisconsin Expo Center at State Fair Park. And how about right now, Adam? Let's do it. Let's give away some tickets.
Let's do it right now, Jessica.
Do you want to pick the number for the caller?
I do. I love getting this responsibility.
Don't make it too high, though, because then Gina,
Trust me,
too much time.
Former producer Solidarity, when I was on Wisconsin's Afternoon News, John Mercure would sometimes say, let's do number 44. No, I'm serious, Adam. 44. No. Let's do, let's see. So Boston put out, I believe, 7 studio albums over their career. Let's do caller number 7.
Oh, wow. Okay. Be the 7th caller, and you'll be going to the boat show at the Expo Center at State Fair Park. The Milwaukee Boat Show is back at Wisconsin State Fair Park inside the Expo Center. Good luck. Be the 7th caller. It's 11:56. Up next, your top news.
We get it. You're on the go, and life gets in the way. Stay up to date on all things WTMJ with podcasts of every show. Available on WTMJ.com. And don't forget you can stream WTMJ online and watch your favorite WTMJ shows on YouTube. Every show, when you want it, no matter where you are. We are Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio 620 WTMJ.
So how do you underpromise and still get the job? We believe in our hearts we're going to do great work for you. We're just really careful about making unrealistic promises. At Semperfi, we refuse to set the bar higher than we can jump. But be assured, that's the goal. To do all we can to jump as high as possible to try to exceed your expectations. We're looking to break records. That's how you win over customers, get really great referrals, and build a great business. When you're making a decision to hire an exterior remodeling company, character, integrity, and the feeling that the people you're about to hire are truly eager to show you how good they are should stand at the top of your list. This is Brad Youngluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior modeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
And that's the best thing about Capital's Furnace Beyondification.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Hey, Merle, what you got? What's this? A screenplay?
Let me see this. Captain Capital, Heat and Air Hero.
That's so awesome, Merle.
Hang on. I've been writing a screenplay like this.
For years.
It's an epic, and it's Capital Man, not Captain Capital. Yes, of course he restores your furnace to like new condition.
Says here, Captain Capital has a deep clean device.
Aha! Capital Man deep cleans your system with his laser beam hands.
What?
I'm developing a sidekick. He always does the comprehensive safety checks. You wrote yourself in as the sidekick?
As long as it gets across how Capital's Furnace Beyondification saves the day.
And how you want to do it before winter hits.
Well, that's the whole point.
That's what I'm saying.
Then it's great.
Laura, Seth, I need a moment with Merle, please.
Schedule your Furnace Beyondification today at callcapitalcares.com.
Winning in the NFL comes down to the basics, blocking and tackling. In retirement, the certainty of protection and income are the keys to success. And as a former NFL player myself, I have experience with both. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons. Having played on winning teams with the Steelers and Falcons, studying game films helped me mentally prepare for the challenges ahead. Now I star in a new Hollywood documentary called The Retirement Deception to help you visualize and prepare for your fourth quarter of life. You see, you don't retire on your nest egg, but rather the income it can produce. This film shows you exactly how to protect your retirement from stock market drops and produce more income than you thought possible. And it's free for you to view. Call 844-763-2837 right now for your free streaming code to watch The Retirement Deception. Don't risk your retirement savings at the goal line. You don't need to be risky to have a winning strategy. Call today to speak with an all-pro retirement specialist to get your free streaming code to watch The Retirement Deception. Call today, 844-763-2837. That's 844-763-2837. MitchLyonsWealth.com, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
Tonight, the Bucks dispel the Orlando Magic once again.
Right back to Giannis, and Giannis, a thunderous left-hand jam again.
Our coverage starts tonight at 6 with Bucks shoot-arounds on your home for the Bucks. News Radio 620 WTMJ Milwaukee.
It's 12 o'clock. I'm Jessica Ty. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Wednesday, January 15th. Your top story, a brewing offer rejected.
I'm Adam Roberts. A ceasefire deal reached.
We started the day off sunny. Here we are in the afternoon. Oh, yeah, the clouds are increasing. And then tonight comes snow. We have a high of 23 today. Snow tonight. It'll be less than an inch, though. We'll dip down to 20 for our low. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy and a high of 36. It's currently 17 degrees in Milwaukee. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, a WTMJ exclusive. Two former presidents of Leinenkugel Brewing say they've offered to buy the Chippewa Falls Brewery from Molson Coors and continue brewing beer there. Dick and Jake Leinenkugel say Molson Coors has rejected that offer. Last year, Molson Coors announced plans to shut down the 157-year-old brewery. Their last day of brewing beer at the Leinenkugel Brewery is this Friday. More than 50 workers will lose their job. Dick Leinenkugel will join Wisconsin's Afternoon News exclusively at 5:15 tonight.
We're also following more breaking news this afternoon. Israel and Hamas agreeing to a ceasefire deal that will clear the way for the release of dozens of hostages currently held in Gaza. CBS's Margaret Brennan with the latest.
This is a 42-day implementation during which 33 of those hostages, some alive, some status unconfirmed, would be released in small numbers, during which time we would also see some redeployment of troops. We would also see aid go into Gaza.
Also, as part of the deal, Israel would release hundreds of Palestinian prisoners and also allow hundreds of thousands of displaced people to return to their homes in Gaza.
Millions of people in Southern California are nervously keeping watch as winds begin picking up during a final round of dangerous wildfire weather forecast for the region. LA Fire Chief Kristin Crowley with an update on the Palisades fire.
When you look at the aerial view of the Palisades fire, you may not be able to tell, but however, infrared flights last night indicated there are still numerous hotspots burning within the fire footprint.
The death toll from the wildfires is now up to 25.
Kent Laverne will take the oath of office Thursday, serving as Milwaukee County's 3rd district attorney since the 1960s. Former Milwaukee Police Lieutenant and host on 1017 The Truth, Dr. Ken Harris, tells WTMJ what Laverne needs to do to separate himself from his former boss, John Chisholm.
Make the punishment match the crime. Don't think you're making up for past ills in the black community, Hispanic, Asian, white, whatever, because of what happened in the past. You only deal with the circumstances and what happened today. Let's move forward.
Laverne ran unopposed in the November election and plans to focus on prosecuting reckless drivers upon taking office.
A Milwaukee public school student tests positive for lead poisoning. The health department says the student attends the Golda Meir Lower Campus just north of downtown. The department identified lead paint in the basement bathroom at the school. The district and health department are currently working to take care of the identified lead hazards. No other students have reported illnesses.
Time now for news about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Pretty good day so far for the big three. The Dow up 1.5% right now, up 649 points, sitting at 43,167. A 2% jump today so far for the NASDAQ. They're up 405 at 19,449. And the S&P 500 flirting with a 100-point gain day. So far up 94 at 5,937. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com.
The Bucks with a big win last night. So fun to watch. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 12:04.
This report sponsored by the Fireside Theater, the ultimate Elvis tribute musical.
Which one for the money, two for the show, three to get ready now, go cat go.
Elvis is back in the building at the Fireside Theater in Fort Atkinson, and you've never seen anything like it.
Since my baby left me, I found a new place to dwell.
Back in the building features a rotating cast of the finest award-winning Elvis tribute artists and Anne Margaret, all backed by an incredible live band and ensemble. Experience the eras of Elvis in this legendary feel-good show. From the 50s to the movies, the 60s comeback to the rockin' 70s. It's all here.
Oh, see right up.
Every ticket to the Fireside includes a superb dinner prepared by award-winning chefs and a chance to visit their spectacular gift shops. Hurry, tickets are going fast. Call 920-563-9505 or visit firesidetheater.com. Elvis back in the building, live on stage, January 9th through February 23rd. Only at the Fireside Theater.
It's here on consignment from over 10,000 nationwide partners. From very high-end, distinctive furniture, unique antiques and original art, to tasteful home decor that can fit almost any budget. Premium home decor priced right at 25 to 40% off retail prices. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Smart interior designers know that what they'll see here is going to be almost impossible to find anywhere else, especially at our consignment prices. Premium home decor that's gently loved and close to new. And what we carry can raise the wow factor of anyone's home decor. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. The Bucks dethrone the Kings after securing a 130-115 win here at home. Giannis Antetokounmpo led all scorers with 33 points and got another triple-double with 13 assists and 11 rebounds. The Bucks host the Magic tonight. Coverage starts with Bucks shoot-around after the 6 p.m. news. Wisconsin basketball edged Ohio State 70-68 from the Kohl Center. The Badgers have won 6 straight games and improved to 14-3 on the season. Wisconsin visits USC Saturday afternoon. Badger Sports Updates sponsored by Siding Unlimited. Siding and a whole lot more.
Let's check the roads. Your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. We had an earlier crash on 94 in Kenosha County, right near County KR. It's still on the map for the DOT, but it looks like, according to the camera, that everything has been cleared up from the shoulder there, so things are looking good. We do have a fresh broken down vehicle just reported on right near the Marquette on 794 East. That right shoulder is blocked there due to the vehicle broken down. Still also have the one on 94 East at Highway 164 on the right shoulder broken down vehicle there. As far as travel times, we're still looking very good this Wednesday afternoon.
Taking a peek at your weather now, your 5-day forecast. Today, the clouds will continue to increase as the afternoon goes on. Tonight, we're looking at snow, less than an inch though. We have a high of 23 today. Tonight, a low of 20, and wind gusts up to 25 miles per hour tonight. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, high of 36. Our temperatures will continue to go up, so that's some good news. Go up for a little bit. Friday, we have a high of 42. Saturday, we start to go back down again. Thank you. That's right about it. Perfect. I have 27 on Saturday, and then wait for it. Sunday, mostly sunny. That's the good news.
Bad news?
It's going to be cold. Our high, 10. It is currently
live
17.
From the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee. It's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life.
See, when you hear a high of 10, and you know that the wind could make it feel worse, today, right now, when we're sitting at 17 degrees in Milwaukee,
that's
not
great.
so bad.
Let's be grateful. Yes, happy. Everything's fine. We're not about to have 72 hours below zero at night.
The thing is, as long as we have the sun, like we did this morning, it's so nice. Bundle up, you see that sunshine. It just kind of makes you smile and run into work, right?
Yeah, I know.
Run into the building.
We had that story in the news earlier this morning on seasonal affective disorder from Dr. John Raymond. He was on with WAN yesterday. And yeah, just a little bit of sun is all it takes. Because as you know, Jessica, we go through stretches here, cloudy, 20, 21, 22 for the high. It's enough to make you pretty miserable.
I know. So, yeah, I mean, the sun always helps. And a lot of people out there, too, just hoping for some snow. We've had a couple winters with just lackluster snow. And those people who like to ski, like to get out there and snowboard. My husband got me snowshoes for Christmas last year. Never used them. They're still sitting there with the tags on.
Still got that new snowshoe smell?
They're from Costco, though, so you can return them still. I don't really want to. But, hey, if I go another season with no snow,
might have to do it.
I might be in that Costco return line. Hey, stay with us here. We've got a big hour coming up. We're going to talk to Jason Wilde coming up at 12:15, and we're not going to recap the season so much because I feel like at this point, now that the Packers are done, we're kind of sad about it. So we're just going to look forward, right? Let's look forward on that. We're also going to go live to Scott McFarland on Capitol Hill because it is a big today. You've got congressional hearings that are going on. You've got the president giving his farewell address tonight. And then come Monday, you have President-elect Donald Trump being inaugurated. A lot right here on Wisconsin's Midday News.
It's now at noon on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Tonight, President Joe Biden gives his final address of his time in office, and this is a big speech. ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers has a preview of what he'll say from the Oval Office.
President Biden released a letter to Americans ahead of his Oval Office farewell address this evening. He describes coming into office 4 years ago in what he calls, quote, a winter of peril and a winter of possibilities in the grip of the COVID pandemic and an economic crisis. The president writes, we came together as Americans and we braved through it. We emerged stronger, more prosperous, and more secure. In his address tonight, he'll give details on why he believes that and outline what he sees as his key accomplishments in office. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
So what does President Biden see as his key accomplishments? Well, he says what the White House calls historic progress on job creation, investment in infrastructure and clean energy, and efforts to bring costs down.
And on the same coin, though, there were some failures. I think a lot of people in my age bracket would say the student loan situation that kind of started when he took office and continued as a promise to the people who voted for him. It never really came to fruition.
Yeah, he probably won't be highlighting the failures.
Probably not. That would make for a very entertaining speech, though.
It would. More people might tune in, right?
Number 2, an update on a looming closure of one of Wisconsin's Wisconsin's most iconic breweries. Now, back in November, we first reported here on WTMJ Molson Coors had plans to close both its Chippewa Falls brewery, which had been in operation since 1867, as well as its 10th Street facility here in Milwaukee in the brewery district. We're now learning, despite efforts behind the scenes by the Leinenkugel family to preserve their Chippewa Falls brewery, the closures are now expected to continue as scheduled. In a statement to WTMJ, you heard in our top of the hour news, Jake and Dick Leinenkugel say they submitted a proposal on January 6th to enter an NDA, or a non-disclosure agreement, that they say would allow the start of discussions on acquiring the Chippewa Falls brewery from Molson Coors. Then Molson Coors, their CEO Gavin Hattersley, declined to pursue the NDA, promising the company is, quote, fully committed to the Leinenkugel's brand. The brothers then followed up to have more discussions even without the NDA, but as of today, they say Molson Coors has not responded. So those closures, again, Jessica, set to take effect January 17th. That's this Friday. And between the two locations, a total of 90 employees will be laid off, 56 of them in Chippewa Falls. And we will have Dick Leinenkugel joining Wisconsin's Afternoon News with John and Julia today at 5:15.
Yeah, so much history there. Well, a big change is coming to the nation's food industry, and many would say it's long overdue.
The U.S. Food and Drug Administration is finally banning red dye number 3 from food and medications, decades after scientific evidence raised alarms about the food coloring. Research has shown red dye number 3 can cause cancer, especially thyroid, along with behavioral health issues such as ADHD. It's used in many popular foods and beverages.
CBS News correspondent Jim Krasula there. The FDA banned the use of red dye number 3 in cosmetics nearly 35 years ago. But this is a big change, now coming to food.
Glad I was never a Mountain Dew Code Red drinker. I feel like it has to have been in that over the years.
Oh, yeah. I was a big Mountain Dew drinker, but not Code Red. It's 12:14. Jason Wilde up next to talk about the future of the Packers.
The Upswing is your place for commerce and community.
What are the impacts of just the constantly escalating housing costs in this market and all other markets?
Hosted by Jeff Sherman.
This has real effects on real people's lives. People's rents go up every year. People can't find an affordable starter home. People can't downsize. We need to change something.
Weekdays from 10 to 11 on WTMJ. Presented by Horicon Bank, the natural choice for all your banking needs.
Fingers come in different sizes.
It's one of the first things you learn as a jeweler.
And a ring can only be sized up or down a little bit.
Which means it's a really good thing to know your ring size.
And it's an even better thing to know their ring size.
This is why we're announcing
the Ring Size Registry at Kessler's.
We're doing it as a public service. It's completely free.
Free. Isn't that a great price?
Here's how it works.
Just drop into any Kessler's Diamonds location and tell one of the owners that you'd like to know your ring size.
Kessler's is an employee-owned company, so whoever greets you at the door is an owner.
They'll determine your ring sizes and add them to our Ring Size Registry.
Then, when someone wants to know your ring size...
Because, maybe they want to surprise you.
All they have to do is call or stop into Kessler's.
Surprises can be fun, don't you think?
We're happy to do this for you, even if you don't buy a ring from us.
But after you take a look around, we think you probably will. Visit KesslersDiamonds.com for a location near you and register your ring sizes today.
Faith requires an object, a face, someone in whom we place our trust. This week on the Lutheran Hour, we meet a dedicated school security guard who inspires Michael Ziegler to believe in the school's mission and get involved. Hear how faith in Christ involves us ever more deeply in the institutions God created of church, marriage, family, and work. This week on the Lutheran Hour.
The Lutheran Hour, Sunday mornings at 6:30 on WTMJ.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik here for Flanner's Home Entertainment. Does the audio and video system in your home need an upgrade? Well, Flanner's has all the solutions and the installation experts to simplify and upgrade your home entertainment experience. Forget about the impersonable big box stores and risky online purchases. You go with locally owned Flanner's, where quality service, the best brands, and guaranteed best price remain top priorities. Stop by Flanner's in West Dallas, Grafton, or at Flanners.com. Sound advice at the best price. Just press play.
It's Wednesday, which means it's time for Flanner's Home Entertainment Football Fix with Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
So that was so good at the start. It felt good, and then it just quickly went downhill.
It did, and the frustrating part to me is that the Eagles did not play very well. Like, that was the thing. They were sort of ripe for the taking. They had some issues with their quarterback who hadn't played in 21 days because of a concussion. So
Here on Wisconsin's Midday News.
No inhibition, no fear. How deep is your love?
Well, our love is deep for the Packers. Because we stick with them no matter what happens, right?
Boy, don't we.
We need one more football fix. Sponsored by Flanders Home Entertainment. Sound advice at the best price. Just press play. Can we press play and go back? No, we can't.
No, we can't.
The season is done, unfortunately. Let's bring in Jason Wilde from ESPN Wisconsin. Jason, I kind of feel like this is like the end of our relationship for a while.
What are you trying to say?
We're just on a break, Jessica. We're just on a break.
We were on a break!
Oh, that's perfect. I love it. Okay, Jason, so here's the thing. For some reason, it didn't feel so bad to me as it has. Sometimes it's like really depressing when the Packers are done and we're done cheering for them. And I'm not saying it was good. I mean, it was a terrible game. But here we are. I kind of want to look forward at this point. Coach LaFleur just had his final press conference of the season yesterday. What were some of the main takeaways from his press conference for you?
Yeah, there were a bunch, but it starts with obviously the quarterback who, as Matt talked about, obviously that position, you get more praise and you get more criticism, but that's why they also pay you more money, right? $55 million a year. So,
right.
You know, look, Jordan Love did not take as nearly as big of a step forward as I think a lot of folks, including myself, were anticipating and or hoping. I don't think he regressed. There's been some disagreement on that point, but I think there was growth. Growth is not linear. But one of the things that was really striking was that Matt LaFleur publicly basically said, look, I need him to be more of a vocal leader and continue to develop that aspect of his leadership. That was pretty significant, I thought, especially because I think if you watch Jordan, you know, he's certainly not a yeller. He's not a screamer. He's not a guy who, like perhaps his predecessor, throws his arms up when a guy runs a route wrong or drops a ball. So I think he challenged Jordan Love to be a little more outside his comfort zone from a leadership perspective. So that was number one. I think they feel really good about where their defense is headed. That's with good reason, right? I was listening to the intro there, and you hear Greg talk about how the Eagles were ripe for the taking. I mean, as badly as the Packers played, you turn the ball over 4 times and you're still within 16-10.
True.
In the fourth quarter. That tells you how well the defense played. So that's it. And look, I think the biggest question that at least I have is, you know, the idea of we spent so much time talking about, do they need a number one wide receiver? Throughout history, at least in my 3 decades covering this team, someone has always emerged as the guy, right? It was Sterling Sharp, then it was Robert Brooks, then it was Antonio Freeman, then it was Donald Driver, then it was Greg Jennings, then it was Jordy Nelson, then it was Devontae Adams, and then but no one.
Mm-hmm.
And is someone going to emerge, or are they going to have to acquire someone to take that mantle? Because for the last 2 years, or last 3 years, really, it has not been anyone.
I'm glad you brought up Coach LaFleur saying that Jordan Love needs to be a more vocal leader, because I was a little surprised when I heard that. I was like, oh, I mean, it kind of gave some insight into the locker room as well, but you're there and you see the practices too. I know you talked about, you know, he's not necessarily like his predecessor who's maybe, you know, showing you with his hands and everything and maybe yelling a little bit when something goes wrong. But I guess it kind of surprised me that he is not vocal. I just think I would have guessed vocal in a different way. So what have you experienced? Mm-hmm. What have you seen about Jordan Love and his leadership capacity?
Yeah, he is very, flatline. He is not super emotional, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But I think it's important to clarify, because I think when you say, oh, he needs to be more vocal, I think people think yelling. And I don't think vocal and yelling are synonyms.
Agree.
I think being vocal can be how you say. Isn't there an old saying about it's not what you say, it's how you say it?
Yes.
And I think Matt's point is that Jordan can speak up a little bit more about. So let me give you an example. So The second interception that he throws, it's the one where Zach Baun, the former Badger, picks it off, and you hear Brady talking about how I don't even think he saw him there. Well, as Matt LaFleur explained it to us yesterday, he's trying to get the ball to Malik Heath. I knew I was going to do that as soon as they had two Maliks on the same team.
Happens to the best of us.
They're trying to get the ball to Malik Heath, who is running an in-breaking route across the middle. And what you don't know, and this is why I get frustrated with folks that act on social media like they can speak authoritatively on things. If you watch him run his route, he breaks it off and cuts across the middle of the field after 15 yards. Well, he's supposed to do that after 20 yards. And so if he does that, he's obviously farther down the field. Jordan Love is throwing the ball at a higher angle, and Zach Baun's not intercepting that pass. So is that Jordan Love's fault that someone ran the route at the wrong depth and created a situation that guy should not have been there to intercept the pass? It's not Jordan's fault, but it is Jordan's responsibility to then have a conversation with Malik Heath on the sideline and say, look, man, we got to be precise. I'm going to keep going to you. I make mistakes too. I'm not going to not throw you the ball because I'm so mad or anything like that. But, if we're supposed to run the route at 20, we got to run the route at 20. And to me, that's being vocal without being a jerk. And I think you can be both at the same time. You can be thoughtful and a good teammate and also be vocal and very clear about your demands and your expectations.
Jason Wilde, ESPN Wisconsin, with us on Wisconsin's Midday News. Jason, we've been talking a lot about QB1 during this segment, and also from LaFleur's presser yesterday, a notable point at the beginning that quarterbacks coach Tom Clements, long time, multiple stints in that position, he is expected to retire. I mean, that's a guy who has been with the organization for years and years, led the development, or at least the late career prospects of a Hall of Famer, then led the development at the beginning of likely a first ballot Hall of Famer, and for the last 2 years has been leading the development of Jordan Love. Do you know, are you getting any sniffing on whether or not they may go internal for his replacement? And can you speak to just the significance of Clements' impact on so many great quarterbacks we've had in this organization?
Yeah, Adam, I'm glad you asked. So there's a couple things here. First of all, Tom Clements is 71 years old. This is his third retirement. He's kind of like the two quarterbacks that he mentored, right? He retires. And he does so. He retired in 2017 after his time with the Packers, and then the Arizona Cardinals actually got him out of retirement. Cliff Kingsbury for a couple of years in 19 and 20 to work with Kyler Murray, and he helped his development a ton.
Mm-hmm.
So you can add Kyler Murray to that list as well. And then he retired again after the COVID season. And then Aaron Rodgers in 2022, when Luke Getsy left to become the Bears offensive coordinator, Aaron basically asked Matt LaFleur to hire Tom Clements back. And Matt LaFleur didn't know Tom Clements at all. And so they had lunch in Los Angeles where Clements was living and the Super Bowl was being held, and they hit it off. And Matt LaFleur worships Tom Clements now. He's that veteran coach who really knows so much. So he loved having him for the last 3 years. And I would argue that the two best things that Aaron Rodgers did for Jordan Love was kind of do a heel turn on his way out the door, which prevented Jordan from having to deal with the after effects of a great player leaving, like Rodgers had to deal with the Favre saga in 2008. And the other thing was getting Tom Clements onto the staff. Because I think Tom Clements gets a ton of credit for improving Jordan Love's mechanics and his footwork and his throwing motion. I did not think Jordan Love would ever be as good as he turned out to be.
Jason.
Having watched him in 2020 and 2021, he was not going to be as good as he turned out. He owes that to Tom Clements.
Jason, we got a multiple choice for you here solely because we're running out of time. Do all of the players meet with Coach LaFleur now for an after-season meeting? A, yes, B, no, or C, most of them, but not all?
No, he said they didn't have to do those exit interviews. Stella's very excited about exit interviews. So some of them can, but no, most of them were on their way out of town, and he's going to catch up with them during the off season.
Okay, I like that. So he gave us a multiple choice, and he put a little asterisk to give us some details.
I think I heard a dog barking, too, is saying D, all the above.
Woof, woof. That means it's time to go. Thanks so much, Jason. We've appreciated your perspective throughout the season here.
Happy to do it, everybody. Take care. Be good.
12:26, top local news and national headlines coming up next.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. As you probably know, when you buy one dinner, you get a second dinner free every night at the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club. That's incredible. Well, through January 15th, when you buy a $100 gift card, you get a $20 gift card free. Buy $250, get $50 free. Buy $500 in gift cards, get $125 in free gift cards. Incredible bargains. Business owners, managers, Fox and Hound's gift cards make perfect year-round gifts because everyone loves a free dinner. When you buy one dinner, you get one free. That offer is like when you buy one gift card, getting a second gift card for free. Your company will save hundreds of dollars and your employees will truly appreciate you. It's a great place. Festive, fun, delicious food. If you didn't have your company party in December, have it in January at the Fox and Hounds. Half of your employee dinners are free. The Fox and Hounds, just off Highway 167 near Holy Hill. Order your free gift cards at foxandhoundsrestaurant.com. It's the famous Fox and Hounds.
By now, you've probably figured out what's most important to us at Semperfi is our reputation. Building a great character-driven remodeling company is actually quite easy. It's just the first 20 years that are a bit challenging. Great companies are collections of great people, and we have great people. They're the ones that helped us build our reputation, but they only come after you've built something they want to be part of. We don't necessarily have to look for good people. They come to us. And that's what you want when you hire an exterior remodeling company. Someone who's going to stand behind their work, and a company that is truly proud of their people. And it's because they do great work. And when you're ready, we'll do great work for you too. This is Brad Youngluth with Semperfi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semperfi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semperfi.
Now, about your house. Eric Brown is the president of Siding Unlimited, your contractor for new windows, roofing, siding, decks, and a whole lot more. He knows about your house. So what do you know, Eric?
Siding is what pops on your home. Clean lines, beautiful accents, and wonderful colors can make your home really look amazing. Homeowners are always looking to add curb appeal when buying new siding, and a well-installed product from Siding Unlimited will definitely deliver a grand appeal. There is so much more to gain from replacing your siding other than the curb appeal you're already seeking. There is so much value in having new siding with low maintenance. Just an annual cleaning with the hose is all you really need to do. You can't get much lower maintenance than that. The process of replacing siding gives homeowners a fresh start, a new understanding knowing that we can peel back the old stuff and get a real in-depth inspection on the walls on your home and the structural integrity. How has the home performed over the past 20 years? We'll see it all when removing the old siding. There's a high percentage your home is missing the most important factor in siding a home, and that's a working water barrier. Many homes built in the 1990s and prior don't have a water barrier beneath the siding, and homes that were built in the 90s that do have one probably have a water barrier that was installed incorrectly. New siding replacement assures us that we install the water barrier correctly and protect the home moving forward. Our process always includes adding insulation board to the wall. This gives you a water barrier underlayment and additional R value, which is an energy coefficient, so warmer walls, adding more value to the project than the expected curb appeal. As the new siding goes back on, we know your home will be ready to manage water well into the future and look amazing doing so.
Eric and his crews at Siding Unlimited are your go-to contractor here for siding and also replacement windows, roofing, and decks. Take the next step. Check them out at sidingunlimited.com. Siding Unlimited, siding and a whole lot more.
It is 12:30. I'm Jessica Ty. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Wednesday, January 15th. Your top story, a historic ceasefire deal secured.
I'm Adam Roberts. An update from Madison.
Clouds are increasing this afternoon. Tonight, expect snow. We have a high of 23. Tonight, we'll dip down to 20. Wind gusts up to 25 miles per hour. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy. A high of 36. It's currently 20 degrees in Milwaukee. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, a ceasefire deal reached between Israel and Hamas, ending fighting in Gaza. It includes the release of Israeli hostages. News Nation's Robert Sherman with the breaking news this afternoon.
Still waiting on the procedural aspect of this to all be finalized on the Israeli side as the Israeli foreign minister makes his way back from Italy to Israel in order to participate in those security cabinet discussions and successive votes that are anticipated to be taking place as well.
Both President Joe Biden and President-elect Donald Trump are applauding the deal.
Here at home, improvement for 2 students still in the hospital. This after the Abundant Life Christian School shooting in Madison last month. Spokesperson for UW Health says patients are improving and have now been upgraded to good condition. A student and teacher were killed in the December shooting. The shooter also dead. Madison police, meanwhile, are still investigating a motive for that shooting.
2 accidents involving guns in Fond du Lac. The first happened Sunday night near Mahill Avenue and Pioneer Road. A 20-year-old man from Van Dyne shot himself in the hand while assembling a gun. He didn't realize that the magazine was loaded. The second happened less than 48 hours later, Tuesday afternoon near Grove and Seymour. A 27-year-old man from Fond du Lac forgot to remove the magazine when cleaning a gun for storage and fired a round through his bedroom wall.
Emergency communications back up and running again in Sheboygan County. A fiber optic line cut early Tuesday afternoon impacted administrative phone lines coming into the 911 dispatch center. Several cell towers also impacted. Technicians from AT&T bringing a mobile cell tower into Sheboygan to enhance cell coverage as they did overnight repairs. This all comes after 6 counties lost their emergency communications in central Wisconsin earlier this week in a similar scenario where a fiber optic line was cut there as well.
Check your freezer for frozen taquitos. Aldi is recalling its Casa Mamita chicken and cheese taquitos because they may contain metal. The products were sold in stores across 31 states, including Wisconsin. Packages have a best buy date of July 3rd or September 25th, 2025. If you have the product, if you have those taquitos in your freezer, throw them away immediately or take them to Aldi for a full refund.
Mental health during cold winter months, very important to take care of. We mentioned earlier Dr. John Raymond with the Medical College of Wisconsin. He's on Wisconsin's Afternoon News and says seasonal affective disorder is a very serious form of depression.
Seasonal affective disorder, also called SAD, is a major depressive disorder. It's a serious illness. And as we know, in winter, the days are short, the weather's cold and bleak, so it's natural to maybe feel a little bit down. But for about 5% of Americans, it's more than just a little bit of sadness. It really is a significant depressive disorder.
Dr. Raymond says cognitive behavioral therapy as well as antidepressants can help combat seasonal affective disorder from impacting a person's mental health.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 12:34.
You're right, and I'll agree. It does sound too good to be true. But offering you affordable treatment that alleviates pain, which really does work, that we've seen in most cases insurance paid for in full, is a definite reality. It's pain relief, really. And these are FDA-approved treatments. They're safe and proven to reduce inflammation and alleviate pain. Yeah, you'll have to get a couple of shots, and I know that can scare people. But the needle is extremely small. And after giving shots like this hundreds of thousands of times, you'll see we make it very easy. You're going to feel the relief that our powerful pain relief agents give you. They're pain relief drugs that solve pain problems. And the way I feel is that Rejuvenex should be the first stop for anyone living with pain in shoulders, hips, elbows, and knees. At $65 per joint, per injection, it's probably the most affordable pain relief option available that actually works.
Rejuvenex. Alleviate your pain. Rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex Google reviews will tell you more.
And that's the best thing about Capital's Furnace Beyondification.
Absolutely.
I agree. Hey, Merle, what you got? What's this? A screenplay?
Let me see this. Captain Capital, Heat and Air Hero.
That's so awesome, Merle.
Hang on. I've been writing a screenplay like this.
For years.
It's an epic, and it's Capital Man, not Captain Capital. Yes, of course he restores your furnace to like new condition.
Says here, Captain Capital has a deep clean device.
Aha! Capital Man deep cleans your system with his laser beam hands.
What?
I'm developing a sidekick. He always does a comprehensive safety checks. You wrote yourself in as the sidekick?
As long as it gets across how Capital's Furnace Beyondification saves the day.
And how you want to do it before winter hits.
Well, that's the whole point.
That's what I'm saying.
Then it's great.
Laura, Seth, I need a moment with Merle, please.
Schedule your furnace beyondification today at callcapitalcares.com.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Giannis Antetokounmpo gets his 50th career triple-double as the Bucks beat the Kings 130-115. The Bucks' W last night ends the Kings' 7-game winning streak. Bucks are back for Game 2 of their 4-game homestand tonight against the Orlando Magic. Tip-off is at 7 p.m., and our coverage here starts at 6 p.m. with Bucks shoot-around right here on WTMJ. And a win for the Wisconsin Badgers last night, 70-68 over Ohio State at the Kohl Center. The 24th-ranked Badgers play USC next. That's coming up on Saturday. The Wisconsin women host the Buckeyes tomorrow night in Madison. Brewer Sports Updates sponsored by Siding Unlimited. Siding and a whole lot more.
Let's go over the roads. Your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. It's very interesting, Jessica. I was looking at the map, and we had that broken down vehicle earlier on 94 heading towards 794, the Marquette interchange area. The second I clicked on the DOT map, it disappeared. It went off of the map.
That happens. It's gone.
And that's great because now I can accurately report we have a clear freeway system right now. No incidents or delays at this hour.
Traffic is sponsored by the Amazing Mineshaft Restaurant in downtown Hartford.
Hey, through January 15th, buy a $100 gift card from the Mineshaft Restaurant in Hartford. Get a $20 gift card free. Order online today at mineshaftrestaurant.com.
Here's a look at your 5-day forecast. Clouds increasing this afternoon. Tonight, we'll see some snow. We have a high of 23 today. Snow tonight, less than an inch, so not a ton. We'll dip down to 20 degrees. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, high of 36. So our temperatures are going up until they don't. They go up through Friday. Saturday, they start to go back down. We have a high of 27 on Saturday. And then Sunday, it's going to be mostly sunny. That's the good news. The bad news, we only have a high of 10. It's currently 20 in Milwaukee.
Ever since I looked in your eyes, I had one question for you.
Capitol Hill, such a busy spot right now for the latest in Washington. Let's go to CBS congressional correspondent Scott McFarland, who is also our expert and guru when it comes to 80s and 90s R&B music. Have we stumped you yet?
Adam, I'm sorry you're subjected to this, but that's Groove Theory's Tell Me from 1995.
See, look at him, Adam,
just
every
doesn't miss.
single time. In the beginning, I thought they were easy, but they're getting trickier and trickier. And Scott, you did it again.
And we had the
Gotta
Boys
dig
to Men.
deeper, guys.
And we had the Boys to Men news earlier, so I was afraid, like, okay, don't do Boys to Men. That's too easy. But Gina, I thought she had a really good one today.
Oh, yeah, Scott, we should tell you in case you want to come up here to Wisconsin. Best-selling R&B group of all time, Boys to Men, returning to State Fair. Mark your calendar, Friday, August 1st.
Oh, nah. That's fantastic. I'm just so sorry that there'll be no football for them to watch when they get back there. Ooh, too soon? Too soon?
Yeah, it's
saucy today.
We were just talking about the Packers during the last segment. We need to move on from that one. Well, Scott, it's a crazy busy day in Washington. I know the confirmation hearings are underway. I was watching earlier this morning as our Wisconsin guy, Sean Duffy, was in the seat. It was kind of interesting because there were a lot of smiles when I first tuned in, a lot of joking, talking about a trip to Hawaii, and then somebody else asking him if he'd promised a trip to Alaska. But the bottom line is there's a lot of serious stuff going on, too. What happened today with Sean Duffy's hit?
Well, to extend the football analogy, this is the political version of the NFL Red Zone channel. There are 5 simultaneous congressional confirmation hearings for Trump nominees, and some of them are household names. You'd have to just kind of flip between them and look where the action is. Sean Duffy is one of them. There's no sense here, Jessica, at all that Sean Duffy has anything but a clear path towards confirmation as the next transportation secretary. But there are some pivotal moments in all these hearings that senators need to be on the record about. Be it a pet project at home they want this future secretary to talk about. Be it a wedge issue politically, they want to see who's on which side of it. But most of my attention is focused on a room down the hall where Pam Bondi, the former Florida Attorney General, is being questioned as she is Trump's choice to be the U.S. Attorney General in charge of law enforcement in America. And there have been some combative moments there.
Yeah, I was following that along too. Yeah, looks like a lot of back and forth. And then also Marco Rubio, he's been in a confirmation hearing for a long time. They actually broke the news to him, I saw on CNN, that the Hamas-Israel ceasefire deal was reached. And credit to him, he had to come up on the fly with all of that going on. It's obviously, as you know, tense environment, and then have to make a public statement on a breaking news story like that too.
Yeah, and it's an interesting dynamic for him. I mean, Marco Rubio might be the surest of sure shots for confirmation. Imagine you're going for a new job, a difficult new job. You got to fly across the country, go into a new company. You don't know anybody, and you're trying to hit the ground running. Now imagine you're going for a new job inside your own office with your own, still the same bosses and still the same teammates. A little bit easier of a job interview, isn't it? That's Marco Rubio. I mean, he's being interviewed by his colleagues, by his fellow senators, some of whom he has seniority on, some of whom he's mentored. This is smooth for Marco Rubio. And I think ultimately the confirmation hearings here are to get a sense of the Trump administration's foreign policy, where they're going to stand on Ukraine, what they think about the Middle East. But Marco Rubio's words here are not catching anybody by surprise.
As we move forward, the hours here, they're ticking away when we'll have President Joe Biden's farewell address tonight. I know a little bit about what we're expecting. Of course, they always talk about their successes. What exactly do you expect to hear tonight?
Well, he's using the Oval Office as a backdrop because it's his last chance to have the aura and the visuals of the presidency. And I think he wants to give a message that can be saved, clipped, and shown back again years from now, trying to probably declare some successes, foreign policy, domestic, economic, try to make his case that the voters obviously dismissed when they chose Donald Trump again in 2024. But it also is a moment here, an important moment for this administration, to tell a story post-election, because they have been all over the place messaging-wise since November 5th. Now, he has rarely addressed reporters or taken questions. That's a typical, it's a tradition of presidents to give farewell news conferences.
Right.
He hasn't done that. He issued a pardon to his son after saying he wouldn't. That's going to be on his legacy. And he has continued to argue in the few interviews he's given with media that he would have won, or is confident he still would have won the election. And I'm not sure how that lands with Democrats. This is a chance to rewrite the post-election narrative by President Biden, who has charitably given mixed messages in the last 2 months.
And then, of course, Scott, we've also got, like we mentioned earlier, the breaking news with the ceasefire deal. I know that these speeches are often written pretty decently in advance, and given the breaking news scenario of this, I don't know if this will get addended in, but do you expect him to take as much credit as he can for the negotiations, as much as he realistically can, knowing that the next administration is less than a week away?
Yeah, I do. I think I expect to hear from the president before his planned primetime address to do just that, talk about this potential ceasefire and to talk about the work he's done. Donald Trump has already posted on social media that he deserves congratulations, that Trump deserves congratulations for this happening. So there's already an argument over credit. History will view that more than the news cycle will. There'll be a broader look. Will give us a better sense of who gets credit for this, for however much credit matters. But the timing here is something, isn't it? I mean, 5 days before the administration ends, and this year and a half long, horrific battle could be subsiding a bit. Although one senator walked by me a few minutes ago and says, "I don't trust Hamas. I won't believe it till I see it." There's still some skepticism, perhaps rightfully, in this case.
And if we go back in time here, 6 months ago, it was his last primetime speech in the Oval Office when he explained his decision not to run for re-election. And wow, how far we've come.
Yeah, and it really is a lifetime in those last 5 months, isn't it? I mean, they can write history books for all our students about July 2024 and everything that happened that month. The assassination attempt, the standing down of President Biden from re-election, the dismissal of Trump's classified records case in Florida, the Republican National Convention with people with bandages on their ears. And it's hard to imagine that all this has happened in such a confined period of time. But we have to just take a broader perspective here. A president stood down from running for re-election for the first time in many of our lifetimes. And we're going to see the culmination of his term tonight.
Yeah, you mentioned that Band-Aid on the ear. I'll never forget that. I mean, we saw that here in Milwaukee for the first time when Trump came out. We weren't really sure what to expect, and he came out earlier than expected, and then he had that bandage on his ear. And then as the days went on at the RNC here in Milwaukee, it seemed to get smaller and smaller.
Yeah, I think MPS history books 20 years from now will just have a whole chapter on July of 2024.
I mean, really, you talk about, Scott, it seems like this could have been a blockbuster movie, but really, it's real life, and it will go in the history books.
I can't tell if it feels like forever ago or 5 minutes ago. That's just those last 6 months. But you also keep in mind from July 2024, President Biden tried to salvage his campaign, and the first place he stopped to do it after that debate was Madison. Spoke at a middle school in front of a few hundred people, had a good day there, had a good rally, thought that would be enough to get him over the hump. And then no, and then there were the Wisconsin Democrats saying, you got to stand down. We need to go somewhere else. Remember, it was elected members of Congress publicly saying you need to get out of the race.
Yeah.
What a bonkers thing that was in history. It truly has been something, and I think we'll see the coda of all that tonight in prime time.
And then coming up real quickly here, Monday is President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration. The security is going to be intense. I mean, this is a different ballgame. And even for Joe Biden's inauguration, that was a unique atmosphere at that time. But 2025, a different atmosphere, and there's going to be a lot of security.
Yeah, this is a national homeland security event, like a Super Bowl. It will have a wall of federal agents, literally 30 miles of fencing surrounding the complex in the tightest of security. I have a credential to walk in the Capitol any time of day or night. I have to go get fingerprinted this afternoon so they can run another background check on me being near the president-elect. It's something. I tell you what, you can laugh at the good people of Washington, D.C. today. They're freaking out that it's going to be 19 degrees Monday.
Oh, yeah,
they
I heard that.
Freaking out. They are in panic mode. They're buying baked goods at the restaurants so that they can be well-equipped to put them in their clothes and stay hot.
Oh,
they don't know what they're doing to stay warm in 20-degree weather here. They could use some lessons from their friends in Milwaukee.
Yeah, meanwhile, I'm seeing on our TV news graphics we have in the studio, we're going to have an 80-hour period where lows are going to be, or wind chills will be below zero. So, yeah, we could teach you guys a thing or two. We're pretty hardy up here.
And just as an addendum, because I think it's important to say this after last weekend, I think the Green Bay Packers are going to be a force to be reckoned with for the next 10 years. They got injured so badly during that game this weekend. They have nothing but upside, and I got to tell you, I'm bullish on their future. I wanted to be unequivocal about that after the joke.
Yes. See, we like Scott even more.
And we already love them.
Well, thank you so much. What's on tap for you in the days ahead? Just it's kind of interesting as we come to you sometimes. You're right there in the midst of everything. Yeah. You've got the lawmakers walking by you. I'm just kind of curious for our listeners if you can kind of paint the picture as to what today means for you and then come Monday, too.
My story Monday is, are we about to watch the pardoning of hundreds and hundreds of Americans who clash with police violently on television? There's going to be some number of pardons, guaranteed. Trump has said it'll be day one. He has not said if it's everybody or just some people. There's a big difference between those two things. That is a full-time assignment, and that in itself is a historic story considering the historic nature of Jan 6.
Well, we will certainly check in with you next week. Thank you so much. We always appreciate your time. That's Scott McFarling, congressional correspondent for CBS News. It's 12:49.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick. Soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors. Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
If you're able, please help people impacted by the California wildfires in 2025. Donate at redcross.org/ESPN to help the Red Cross respond and help families recover.
Deep freeze is here. It's not too late for you to get hot, hot, hot. Fox World Travel has your ticket to paradise with exclusive deals you won't find anywhere else. Save up to $150 on Mexico and Caribbean vacations with Apple Vacations, or get Fox exclusive cruise perks like onboard credits and more with Celebrity Cruises, Holland America, or Princess. Don't miss this limited time to book now and save only at Fox World Travel. Book online or call 866-GO-FOX-GO and mention code radio.
Winning in the NFL comes down to the basics, blocking and tackling. In retirement, the certainty of protection and income are the keys to success. And as a former NFL player myself, I have experience with both. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons. Having played on winning teams with the Steelers and Falcons, studying game films helped me mentally prepare for the challenges ahead. Now I star in a new Hollywood documentary called The Retirement Deception to help you visualize and prepare for your fourth quarter of life. You see, you don't retire on your nest egg, but rather the income it can produce. This film shows you exactly how to protect your retirement from stock market drops and produce more income than you thought possible. And it's free for you to view. Call 844-763-2837 right now for your free streaming code to watch The Retirement Deception. Don't risk your retirement savings at the goal line. You don't need to be risky to have a winning strategy. Call today to speak with an all-pro retirement specialist to get your free streaming code to watch The Retirement Deception. Call today, 844-763-2837. That's 844-763-2837. MitchLyonsWealth.com, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano talking with Dr. Mike Nolte at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Doc, a lot of people are hesitant to visit a surgeon for spine care.
The good news is that the vast majority of patients that I see and the majority of conditions that I can see can be successfully treated without surgery. And I don't want patients to think that just because you're seeing a spine surgeon means that you're going to be signing up for surgery. We talk about, in my clinic, kind of a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C.
Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, there is a difference. orthowisconsin.com.
It is 12:52 on your Wednesday afternoon, middle of the work week now, and 20 degrees. We've been going up. Mother Nature has been taking things up throughout the show, just a couple degrees, and every single one helps.
Thank you, Light Ball in the Sky, for keeping us from what we're going to be having next week.
Light ball in the sky, I like that. All right. So, some behind-the-scenes stuff. So today, Adam comes to me because he's filling in for Greg while he's taking this great vacation with the fam. And he says, I got something. I was like, okay, well, we've got a packed show. So what is it? It's got to be good. And he says he wants to talk about Big Boy. Well, when I think about Big Boy, I think about the restaurant, right? In Milwaukee, like Mark's Big Boy. And, oh, that great character. He was out there outside of the restaurant. Yeah, with a, what would you call it, like a little whip in his hair?
A little fweep. My mom used to say when my hair would go up like that, she'd call it a fweep. I had a fweep in my hair.
Okay. And, yeah, he's holding the cheeseburger. That is not the Big Boy you want to talk about.
No, it is not, although I think there is still one in the Wisconsin Dells still, so you have a chance to go there. It's kind of in flux. Anyway, not the point. No, you do not want to be eating this Big Boy, especially not when the person who's talking about it from Australia, you may already see where I'm going with this, has this to say about it.
I would not recommend touching them, that's for sure. They do give copious amounts of venom.
Copious amounts of venom.
Yikes.
Probably see now where I'm going. Scientists in Australia discovering a new spider, yay, and they have named it Big Boy.
Big Boy.
And when you think spiders in Australia, small boy is enough to cause problems. I'm a little scared when they start talking about Big Boy. So this spider, larger and more venomous version of a Sydney funnel web, which is known to be one of the deadliest spiders in the world. So we're taking where the bar is, and we're just kind of throwing it out the window and just letting it smash through. We've read the bar now. That's even worse.
Wait, so how big is it?
So we've got a picture that Gina's trying to get onto the live stream. We'll see if we can get it up, but if you can't see it, so this thing is about 8 centimeters, which we think in America, like, okay, a centimeter versus an inch. It's not like it's 8 inches. That's still 8 centimeters. It's about like, I roughly measure like that big. That's a big spider. We get wolf spiders in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
They're about that same size for reference. That's a big spider.
It is, but I guess I was thinking it was going to be even bigger than that.
Really?
I mean, if you're calling it Big Boy.
Yeah, you got to be 8 inches.
I feel like
would
you have
be
to be
big
the
boy.
biggest, right? Like.
More from Australia?
I would not recommend touching them, that's for sure. They do give copious amounts of venom. It's amazing. This size is still capable of killing someone my size. They have been found primarily at night, the same as most other male funnel webs would be. Sometimes you might find them in a garage or in a bedroom or somewhere in the house where they might have wandered in during the night, and then they get sprung the next morning when the people are out and about moving. You pick up a towel or a sheet off the floor or some shoes, and the little male has been hiding there overnight.
So make sure to check your garages because this thing is running loose. And
But wait, that brought up another question, though, as he's talking there. He said it could kill somebody my size.
Yeah,
what
and
size is this guy?
Well,
How tall is he? How big is he?
if it's the person I'm seeing online, this dude is a burly, bearded
Okay. He's a big
Australian
boy?
man. He is a big boy. So if you have travel plans for Australia, just make sure you check your garage at the Airbnb you're staying at or the Verbo, because one of the big boys may be wandering around in the corners.
Oh, my goodness. Well, we had a packed show for you today. A lot of breaking news. If you missed any of it, you can text midday to get a link to our podcast. Text midday to 855-616-1620. It's the Wisconsin's Midday News Podcast, sponsored by Sonic Unlimited. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. Have a fabulous afternoon. Local news coming up next.
Spanning the State with Kristin Brey and Brian Noonan.
A sinkhole has caused havoc.
The streets want to eat cars. The earth is just turning against us in Whitefish Bay. This time, we can't